Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wake Up Call. It's me and Alex. We go over crypto news and analysis and our weird takes, and everyone's panicking today. Alex,
Yeah. How are we doing out of 10, Devin?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah.
You,
I was thinking last week, everyone was talking about how awesome we were. I bet this week we suck again. So, you
yeah,
know,
nothing quite like price to change sentiment.
yeah.
And if
So,
if you go and take another morning poop and Bitcoin goes up
yeah,
to
that sounds great.
115,
Yeah.
all of a sudden everyone's going to be sunshines and rainbows again.
Yeah. Seriously. So, all right, let's I already see the comments. ETH is dumping, LOL. I'm scared. Market is effed. Oh man. Yeah, that sounds yeah, okay. Be scared. So
Be afraid.
0 out of 10. Somebody says 0 out of 10. That's great. So
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
oh
Uh,
man. So oh yeah, hey, my chart's up. So how about I talk about some crypto here? Um I have two different hypotheses going on in my head right now. Either we're yeah, we all know, right? Like if you don't know by now, September is historically a bad month for crypto, for stocks. And here we are, the last trading day before September, and everything's dumping. And so could it be, remember last week? I mean, we front ran Jackson Hole, and then Jackson Hole came and the market pumped. Could it be that we're front running again an event that we're saying is going to be bearish? And so that is hypothesis number one. Um, that we're just front running September, and September is going to be a good month. Hypothesis number two is that September is going to be a normal September. I'm sorry, or at least for the first 17 days. And
so
I lean towards scenario number two. The reason why, for those of you watching on YouTube at least, is not the reason why, but a reason why is I started paying attention again to whenever we see the Bitcoin dump every now and then. I just check to see the 20-day and 50-day EMAs if they cross over. What's this crossover look like? Well, all right, when the 20-day crosses over the 50-day EMA, historically that has been more often than not. I don't know the exact percentages for Bitcoin with those crossovers, but it's been that has led to more often than not further downside, maybe 2 out of 3 times further downside. There's two significant moments that really stick out to me, and I want to compare right now to those moments, which was earlier this year. All the tariff fears. We had that 20 day. We had the tariff fears. We had that 20-day, 50-day crossover, and Bitcoin dropped another 20%. And then another one that sticks out to me is November of 2021, where on the day of that 20 and 50 crossover, we had this massive liquidation where Bitcoin went down. I think it was $15,000 within a 24-hour period. So, all right, that sounds bleak. Okay, let me back up a bit and say I don't think this time is going to be nearly as bad. If we do have a bad start to September, I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as those previous two examples. And the reason why, reason number one is, you think about the tariff fears and the amount of fear that was driven in the market. That was we don't have anything like that right now. I mean, we just had a good we had a good non-farm payrolls report, and all the fears of the last payrolls, or the last unemployment report, that should be tempered a little bit. We're not seeing the foundation crack yet, and I do think the foundation will crack. But we're not seeing that happen yet. We have, by all of their metrics, all the powers that be's metrics, a healthy economy. Okay. All right. This fear was driven by what people feared wrongly was going to be a significant shift in the global economy earlier this year. So that was enough to drive down the market for sure, and to bring it down to a really just a back test of the previous all-time high from March of 2024. Now, comparing this again, the 20-day, 50-day crossover to 2021, huge difference between now in November of 2021. In November of 2021, actually that crossover happened December 4th of 2021. We had everyone was way over levered to the upside because everyone was thinking Bitcoin to $100,000, massive blow off alt season, and the market was flat footed big time. The market makers took advantage of that, and they were the ones who won, of course. So this time around, there's a lot more just general fear in the market. I would not say that that there's excessive greed or anything going on right now. So if you look at leverage, it's not anywhere near. It's really just pretty neutral right now. So what does that mean? That means I just think that the first part of September we're going to be in the range in between. I don't think we're going below $100,000. I think we're going to just for some time be in a little under 110. And people are going to be like, oh man, it's over, blah blah blah, and then I'm a big believer in Bitcoin seasonality, with the fourth quarter of 2025 being, or just general the fourth quarter being a very bullish time. So I think this is I'm holding. If you are a hodler of whatever cryptocurrency you believe in, I think you just hold through this. So my thoughts, Devin, I'm going to guess you have different thoughts, but let's see.
Yeah, well, like for me, it's just like it's really hold on, let me switch to my screen here. Get your screen out of here. Get out of
Yeah.
here, Alex.
I see you, Janera. Sorry, that's a friend of mine for like last 20 years. So
Oh, nice. What's up, Genera? Old school friend.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's just a back test of the prior range. I had the
yeah,
number as 110, but whatever, 108, 105, okay, whatever. Like I've said that I think that Bitcoin is going to range between the number that I called out was 125 and 110. Sure. If you want to be 105 to 125, like to
sure,
me it's almost irrelevant at this point, because the major thing that I've been talking about since 2022 is Bitcoin getting into price discovery. And it's like $118,000 was that. And almost, I don't want to say it's irrelevant what Bitcoin does at this point, but outside of Bitcoin going into a full on bear market, which, we have what's the number one indicator for me of being in a bear market or a bull market? Although it is lagging on the daily, you could say it lags by a couple of weeks. That's fine, but we're nowhere close. And what
yeah,
you need is the 200 to be on the top, then the 100 EMA, then the 50 EMA, then the 20. And right now we are not only flipped of that, but we're not even like coiled up. Like at least in April, like you could have an argument to say like, oh, something is brewing here. Like we got coiled up. We're not even coiled up right now. So to me, it's just nowhere close as far as that goes. And there's a lot of support over here. This idea that, is it possible to just rip through all of this? Like I have this box laid out here of just all of this is support. Is it possible to just rip right through all of that? Sure, that's possible. Is it probable? Is it likely? No, it's not. It's not likely at all that you just bust through all of this support here with no bounces. So to me, I don't want to say it's irrelevant for Bitcoin, but it's very like Bitcoin is no longer, the phase of the ride. I keep calling it the ride of the roller coaster. This is the
yeah,
cryptocurrency market roller coaster. The longest part of the ride is fiat going into Bitcoin. And in my opinion, that part of the ride is over. And not only is like, do I think it's over? I have, undeniable, unequivocal evidence, and I keep talking about this too, of so sure, would I like Bitcoin to bounce from here and get back to 115, 118? Sure, I definitely would. Like it would make things a lot easier. But as far as is it outside of it going into a bear market, like I genuinely think that almost what happens with Bitcoin is irrelevant. I think it's going to range. It might make another push to another high, but we're talking 138 has been my medium case target since 2022. We're talking about another 20% move from here. So to me, it's like
Yeah.
stocks might do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, so, but the bigger thing that's happening here, and I even put it at 4,200 because I was already like over exaggerating, meaning like to the downside. And like, what is the next part of the phase? Is the next part of the phase is, going from Bitcoin into Ethereum. Okay. And so, like, very quietly, people this entire time, I don't know if it's just been like this for you, but this entire time that I've been doing this, people, in my opinion, let's actually put this on the 5 hour, has spent way too much time and energy on the altcoins and not enough on Bitcoin. And then, like, when we actually get to the point when, like, I think that Bitcoin is not irrelevant. It's obviously never going to be irrelevant, but it's not the more important part of the story. Like this one short window of time that we get into where Bitcoin is not the most important part of the story. It's like now all of a sudden everyone is hyper fixated on Bitcoin again.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been like that for you.
Yep.
So, okay, yeah. So for me, like everyone has always been way hyper fixated on altcoins and not paying enough attention to Bitcoin. And then finally, when we flip into a moment when Bitcoin is not the most important factor of the market anymore, now all of a sudden everyone is hyper fixated on Bitcoin and not on the altcoins.
So
Um,
I think if I could think through somebody, a normal person's objection, I mean, we're normal people, but you know, we need Bitcoin to not bring the market down with us, Devin. You know, I mean, we need at least Bitcoin to range. I mean, you can see, well, if you were watching on my chart, which don't switch to my chart, you can see just we just keep on getting rejected. We're in a downtrend on whatever for a time being.
yeah.
So, you know,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
So this to me is like, I don't want to be a FOMO moon boy here, but the significance of this domino that is taking place very quietly, I don't think it can be understated of how important of a domino that this is falling. And I have on the top is Bitcoin from July through present day, and then on the bottom is the same thing, Ethereum from July through
Yeah,
present day. And I have 3 dates circled when, Bitcoin interacted with basically the same target. You could call it 110, like it doesn't matter. Just the same sort of range, the same flavor of the market. And, quietly each time Bitcoin has interacted with this price, the first time Ethereum was at 3,000, Bitcoin goes up to 22, 122 comes back to the same target, and then Ethereum pulls back to 3,500. Then Bitcoin goes up to 124, pulls back again, and then Ethereum is at 4,200. And I'm rounding down. Like it never even actually got to 4,200. I'm actually rounding down to
yeah,
4,200. But even so, this is up more than 50% during the same time when Bitcoin is just ranging at the same point. And this is a big, 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 big deal because that is like basically I don't want to say this is the moment we've all been waiting for and your wildest dreams are going to come true. I don't want to be like that, but this is a domino that is clearly falling in the right direction. And we have undeniable, unequivocal evidence that this is taking place. And then not only that, but Bitcoin dominance. Like, I've been talking about this a lot in the 5 hour, clearly in a bear market. On the
yeah.
daily, I would say I think we got an official cross today, maybe it's tomorrow. Yeah, we have crossed officially. It's like you can barely see it, but we have crossed today. So now this is Bitcoin dominance is officially in a bear market, and it will be fighting this until it flips. And it has to, like, once you see it flip fully, when 200 is on top, 100, then 50, then 20, like this. Either way, if it flips to the upside or if it flips to the downside, this is a full confirmed flip. You don't see it just break it. backwards. It,
Yeah.
it needs to fight it a few times before it can actually flip, and it needs to go in through accumulation. So, in my opinion, what we're seeing is Bitcoin, you could say it's crashing, but realistically, it's ranging, and it's at the bottom of the range again. And you talked about last week a reaccumulation pattern. You could say
Yeah.
that. I definitely see it more because that's what that is. It's like when you go into accumulation, you do get a downtrend. You do get lower lows that take place, and people freak out. Traders, I think a lot of times, the first thing that people learn is they learn head and shoulders, and then the second thing they learn is trend lines. And so it's easy to be like, well, we're on a downtrend, and you know what I mean. But that's really that's pretty common. So that's where I think they were at. And Kronos to me was a big one too. Like that wasn't my number one draft pick for the first altcoin to like really break that same structure that I've talked about. I mean, I've talked about it with you, Alex,
Yeah.
with ADA, with VeChain, with all these like this same structure. I've talked about it with you just on the show 736 times. So I know I've talked about it on my own thing of the same, comparing it to Bitcoin in 2013. And that was the first, Kronos was the first one to break out. Your sign of strength, back test the prior range, move higher, back test, reaccumulate, and then you go into the markup. And it's the same thing that Bitcoin did. You know, so I would argue that, not only are we in phase 2 of it, but we're not quite in phase 3 in my opinion, but we're flirting with it. Like we're flirting. If you see a couple like ADA or VeChain or whatever the case may be, just break higher, Kronos did. Like Kronos didn't have a full, fledged bull market breakout, but it made a higher high, and that's a big deal. Let me pull up the daily here. And so this is the same structure that I've been talking about, this entire time. And that is, this is Bitcoin in 2013. It was the first one to kind of give you this. And this is kind of, I'm taking Wyckoff and I'm kind of doing my own structure a little bit that I see happening more in crypto. The move higher is not a real move in Wyckoff. That is something that I made up because I see it happening a lot in cryptocurrency specifically. But a lot of the altcoins have the same setup. So this is your markdown, your accumulation for Bitcoin on the top from 20, or excuse me, ADA is on the top, but you could replace it with so many different coins. You could place it with Kronos. We'll show Kronos. You could place it with VeChain, ADA. There's 100 coins that you could replace this with. And you have your markdown, accumulation, sign of strength, back test, reaccumulate, move higher than the sign of strength, move higher than the sign of strength, back test, reaccumulate. And then, something I've talked about a lot too is it's pretty rare that you break above the all-time high the first time. You can see Bitcoin gets rejected 3-4 times. That's the same thing that Ethereum's doing. And then it finally breaks out. It finally goes above. And once it does so violently. And so my opinion, Kronos, it wasn't my number one draft pick to do it first, but it was on my bingo card. It was on my draft board. You know what I mean? It's like the Cleveland Browns number one pick was Mason Graham, and he looks good. But, Carson Schlesinger looks amazing, and he was the number 2 draft pick. And it's like the same thing. It's like he was on my draft board. That's a dumb reference, but it's all good. Football season's about to start. So let me pull up Crow to show like the continuation of the same structure here, and we'll switch it instead of, like this is a clean breakout. And so I probably think that Kronos is probably going to backtest the move higher. That would be a normal thing. I'm not saying you should FOMO into Kronos, but yeah, this is the same structure too. This is the same structure that I've seen 1,000 times. And the problem that when people watch me is they think that I am a what's going to happen the next 15 minutes analyst. And that's not what I am. I'm a what's going to happen the next 15 weeks analyst. And that probably bugs people, but go follow someone else, I guess. And the other thing too I know that I'm like hogging the microphone here, but this is the last thing I'll say that I think is more than confirmed at this point is I've been talking about Bitcoin at nauseum. Let's get a cleaner chart than this. It's an okay chart. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry, I'm ready for football season now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I've been talking about a lot is, Bitcoin being a beat or two ahead of Ethereum, which Ethereum is a beat or two ahead of the rest of the market. And to me, others is really poised. I'm going to pull up 3. We'll start with just Ethereum, but then I'll show others too, or the total too.
Total just looks like it's back testing its previous all-time high.
Right. And again, Ethereum is fighting with, making a new all-time high. Again, like it's pretty rare that you just bust right through the all-time high. Like it doesn't happen very much.
Yeah.
So, and that's freaking people out. So, okay, on the top is Bitcoin. And what I've talked about a lot on my channel is that theory that I have that Bitcoin is a beat or two ahead of Ethereum. Ethereum is a beat or two ahead of the rest of the market. And basically you have your markdown, you go into accumulation. And then you'll see, like, if I scroll the dates, like I have the move circled that is the same phase, but Bitcoin is literally ahead by the date. So Bitcoin breaks the downtrend while Ethereum continues to chop. Then Bitcoin on top. I'm scrolling on Ethereum, but you could see it scrolling on Bitcoin too. We'll scroll in a little bit, zoom in a little bit. Let's actually do it on the 5 hour because I think we need a little bit more data here. Let's put this on the 5 hour too. And so the first thing that it does is it, goes to the April 7th tariff, whatever fiasco. That was the spring in Wyckoff. You break and then you chop at that level. And you just chop and then you break higher again. And it's a full 2 moves above it, in my opinion. Ethereum finally breaks the downtrend, starts chopping. Bitcoin does it again. And then when it chops this time, it's chopping at the all-time high. It's struggling to break the all-time high, struggling. This move right here was to the retrace 618,702. Ethereum goes to the retrace 618,702. This is the same structural move right here. And then now, in my opinion, Ethereum is on the struggle with the all-time high, just like Bitcoin was. And then Bitcoin, what did it do?
Yeah.
It breaks to an all-time high, and now it's struggling to get to the next level. And then if we compare that to like others, to me, others, the next thing is going to the retrace. It's doing it's here, in my opinion, and it hasn't gotten to the retrace, which, is it going to happen in September? Is it going to happen in October? I don't know. My theory is it will happen before the rate cuts. But, I am less concerned with that as much as I clicked on the wrong thing.
So you're still bullish going to the rate cuts?
I am. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like, are we getting a back test? Like, sure. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
to me, everything that we've been talking about on this show and on my channel for years, the dominoes are falling. And then that doesn't mean
Yeah.
go max out your credit cards right now and FOMO in and there's never going to be any red days. But what it means is, like, the structure is there, the formula is there, the ingredients are there. And I will remain bullish until Bitcoin flips, just like Bitcoin dominance has flipped into a bear market. I'm going to be bullish until Bitcoin does that very thing. And I'm not going to be like, oh, we're in a bear market. Now I'm going to look for signs of distribution. I'm going to look for, earlier signs than, a couple weeks lagging. But to me, like, we're not even close for Bitcoin. It's not even now. I'm not that bullish for Bitcoin from here. Like 138 is my target, maybe 207. But like we're not even coiled up on the moving averages, and the 100 moving average. I would be kind of surprised if we even break through this, to be honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're saying you think this is just a wick here on the 100?
Yes.
Because I can see we're below the 100. 100's at what, like 111 right now?
Yeah, that's right. But if you look at the
Yeah.
again, like I say this a lot too. Like I don't even pay attention to the wicks. I pay attention to the body. If we start getting like full
Yeah.
body closes below this, then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, we might test the 200 then, which would be 104,
All right.
which is it's fine. Like whatever. Like
Yeah.
Bitcoin can range to 104, 125. That's what I think it's going to do. I had the original number at 110, but again, to me, it's like we've already moved past Bitcoin being into price discovery. From here, Bitcoin does somewhere between 20 to 80% move, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. After all that, I don't even know really what to add to that. I mean, well, let's we can go into the, you're bullish into the rate cuts thing. I mean, maybe that kind of aligns with hypothesis A, that what I've been saying is like, we could just be front running September. Just everyone expects September to suck, and okay, I'm going to sell before September.
Right. Right. No, that's exactly what people are doing. And like the thing too, I need to be clear about this too, is like I've sort of like I will use the Bitcoin um seasonality chart a lot, which I
Uh-huh.
love this chart. It's a great chart for Bitcoin. I think it really keeps you in the right flavor more times than it doesn't. I'm a big fan of this chart, and it has, if I could even pull it up, it has. Oh my God, it
It's
has.
dragging.
Um, Let me see if I can find this real quick.
Coin glass. That's
It's
got a good one.
it has September as a here we go. So I'm not gonna pull the entire thing up because I can't show like an image, but I'll share this. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I'll share this like Google image thing right here. And this is the one that I like. And September is the only one for Bitcoin with 10 years of data that is negative. And I showed this talking about this, and I basically gave my thesis on how I think that this is going to play out of like, I think we're going to front run the rate cuts the 17th. We're going to run into that. And then we'll have a, negative 10, negative 20% pullback. And then people all of a sudden they started being like, well, I'm gonna do this thing where I'm going to sell and then I'm gonna buy lower. And
Good luck with that.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
never see it happen. And and what thought I was pretty clear on, but maybe I need to be abundantly clear. Here's what I actually think is going to happen, and we'll just give the example of Ethereum. I think between now and the 17th, Ethereum will make a new all-time high. And
Yeah.
like the 10-20% correction that Ethereum is going to experience is going to be a higher low. So this idea that you're going to sell now and then buy back lower, like I've heard that story 76 times from 78 different people, and I've
Yeah.
never seen anyone do it.
They just get too scared. Like when it goes lower, it's like, oh, it's over. I'm not going to buy.
Right, exactly. Like the meme of like, man, I wish I would have bought more, and then like it actually dips. It's like I ain't touching that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So go ahead.
let me pull up my screen real quick. I just want to. I'm showing 2021 on my screen here, and look at what happened with Ethereum. It broke its all-time high, rallied by I mean, 1,400. It's a $2,000. I mean, a significant amount. And
50%.
then, I mean, look at those just few days there. It looks like it took a week to back test the previous all-time high, not have a daily close below it, but some pretty heavy wicks down. And then, and then after that, it was off. It shot off to the races. So this would line up like, yeah, let's say Ethereum broke its all-time high next week, and then it just rallied and got up to like $6,000 or something. And then boom, dump, back test of the previous all-time high. So I'm sticking with my mindset of like, yeah, we might be front running this, but I'm just gonna until we see evidence of that we actually are front running, and that we see a pop on September 2nd or something. I'm just gonna stick with the mindset that, yeah, September whatever, but I'll flip that very quickly if we see
for me right now, personally,
Yeah.
is not the time to try to get cute.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
like if we're down, 10-15%, whatever. Like to me, like it is very dangerous to try to be. Oh my god, my mouth stopped working and my brain was going extra hard here. It is very dangerous to be cute and try to outsmart the market right now.
Yeah.
And and I've talked about that wick right here. If you zoom out, you can't even see it, but that's a 34% correction.
Yeah.
That dip right there after Ethereum broke an all-time high. So that's basically what I think is going to happen. Somewhere between 5,200, 5,800 maybe, and then back testing the prior range. That's going to be painful. That's going to be ugly. But this idea that you're going to sell now and buy lower, I don't think we're getting lower. I think we're going to get a higher lower is what we're going to get.
Yeah.
How long can ETH go? My targets for ETH are 7,200. That's the highest probability. Maybe 12,000.
He's asking how low though.
Oh. I don't think it's going to take out this low over here in August.
It's on my screen.
It's on your screen. Okay. I was going to have you do it, but then why don't I just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a higher low right now. We had a higher high and now we're having a higher low. And we're on top of, like I talked about Bitcoin, this is even more bullish. Like it's not even sloping down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think that this is going to hold right here. We got to 4,100 over here. We got to 42 50. Okay, so maybe 4150. I mean, to me, it's just potato. I think it's going to be, and this is what we've had too. This isn't even the first time too. It's this has been going on for a little while here, since April actually. You've had higher highs and higher lows, many of them. So this is a higher low, and honestly, too, is like one thing that people don't account for is in order for you to have a violent move, it's almost always accompanied by a fake out to the downside.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was looking at some charts. I did a lot of videos yesterday on different cryptos, and I tend to think a lot of them are going to have some kind of fake outs to the downside if they're not already, So like I won't pull up the charts or anything, but I was even like Dogecoin. Dogecoin is getting really narrow with Dogecoin within this really tight range that it's been. And I think what's going to come next for Dogecoin is just a fake out to the downside and then a pop after that. But then even
trap.
yeah, definitely. And a lot of the ISOs look exactly, I mean, they all look exactly the same. And I could see the same thing with XRP, XLM, HBAR, all that they would have a fake out to the downside and then a pop. But that's not something you trade or whatever.
I would say like, most of your coins that were here in 2021, this time in 2021, they almost all have the same setup. Dogecoin has the same setup as Crow. Like they all have the same VeChain, ADA. They all have the same setup, and I think that they're probably all going to experience a bear trap breakout. Is probably what's going to happen. And people think that I'm just this perma moon boy, and I'm not. Like I've been bullish because like here's the reality of the situation. If we oversimplify things, which I think is a good thing to do, keep things simple. We don't need to get cute. The reality is, when I'm talking about the moving averages here, Bitcoin flipped into a bear market January of 2022. Okay, and it remained into a bear market until February of 2023. That was a bear market, and then we have been in a bull market ever since then. We have not flipped back. No matter how coiled we got coiled up here, but the 200 was fully on bottom back in September of 24. We got coiled up back in April of 25, but again, the 200 was still on bottom. So that's it. Like we've just been in a bull market this entire time, and when we flip, I'll be a bear until we flip again. And like I'll take stabs at it, but it's, I don't think we need to get too complicated.
That's a simple way to put it. I mean, yeah, I see the simplicity behind that. It's like, was January of 2021 the peak? No, but
Right.
it was close enough to the peak where if you sold in January of 2021, and if you bought in the bear market, you made gains, you ended up winning, and same deal now. I mean, we are far off from that. I mean, I was talking about the 20-day crossing over the 50-day EMAs, that's it.
Right.
But then the 100 and 200 is still well below those levels.
Yeah.
So
And I'll look for other things. It's not like I'm going to make trades based off of that, but to me, it's more of a pass fail. Are you still in a bull market? Are you still in a bear market?
yeah,
And that's just going to be my bias until we flip. And when we flip, I'll have the reverse bias until we flip again.
yeah, sure.
I think we're already in a bear market. Okay. Well, short everything then. Now's
I,
your time to shine.
yeah. Um, I will never say 100% like somebody's 100% wrong or I'm 100% right about something. I do not think we're in a bear market. I would even say just I look at the stocks as an indication of where we are, and every index that I look at, obviously the S&P and the Nasdaq, but the Dow Jones, but like especially the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 being where it is right now, no, we are not in a bear market. I mean, the Russell 2000, if you want to think about this, what's the Russell 2000? It's altcoins. Okay. It's like the altcoins of the stock market, all your low cap gems that are so-called guaranteed to 100x. And I see no evidence of, and there is a correlation between the Russell 2000 and altcoins, and what that communicates is, to me, is like, we are in a moment right now where, yeah, sure, it looks scary, but it's not enough reason to be like, hey, it's over.
Right. I've never seen a dip that felt like the S&P just made an all-time high. You know what
Yesterday.
I mean? Yesterday.
Yeah.
Someone with a Hebrew name says first 135, then 91. I'll buy that for $1, actually. I think that's plausible.
Sure.
But I don't think we break 100. And this is the thing that the creator was saying when he was like, no one had crow on their bingo card. He was like, I don't know if he's trolling me or if he was being serious. Someone said, 70K Bitcoin or whatever. And I was just like, I just think about things. So I am so practical of like the last time we dipped to 98K, excuse me, I'm showing the wrong thing, was right here. And I was like, what was that? What took place here? It was like, oh yeah, that was World War III.
Yeah.
And it's like, if World War III can't get us there, like what is it going to take? And someone was like, it was this creator. It was like, I don't know. How about actually going into World War III? And I was like, if we actually go into World War III, guess what? I'm not worried about the price of Bitcoin. There's bigger issues.
Yeah.
It's the old adage of like, I don't know who wins World War III, but I know how World War IV is fought.
With sticks and stones.
Yeah. So it's like, guess what? We're not worried about Bitcoin then.
I'm pretty sure that's an Einstein quote.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice shirt. Thanks. Do you think September will be a red month? I think it will be green and then red.
That's been what we've been talking about this whole time. So
to be fair, I'm late on reading the comments. I started from the top.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I am Devin and I are in a slight disagreement that by this time next week, we may be completely in agreement. Just because I really, really want to see what happens when it's September, except September 1st is Labor Day in the United States, federal holiday, markets are closed. So I want to see what happens on September 2nd.
September 2nd.
Yeah,
listen, I'm going to be cautious around the 7th is it's eclipse.
Oh yeah. Yeah, somebody brought that up to me, and I never keep that on my radar, but yeah, but I still, yes, I want to see what happens on September 2nd, because I do have a sneaking suspicion that things are just going to pop on September 2nd. But as of right now, I am of the mindset that no, we're just kind of do what we do in September, which is not, it's, September is really, yeah, Bitcoin is historically, that's the worst month for Bitcoin, but it's not like ever it's gone down all that much. Like it's just been generally down. We're not
Mhm.
talking about a 20%. It's never even been 20% for
Oh,
Bitcoin.
yeah. So actually, let me be more clear. Um, because really September to me is the transition month into what I think is going to be euphoria.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anytime you transition, there's just volatility. And so, when you zoom out, you could say like September is going to be a nothing month, but really there's going to be upside moves, there's going to be downside moves. So I think that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a shakeout month for up bears and bulls. If you were to like oversimplify, that's sort of what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. Um,
Ski cough.
so, is there a nightmare scenario in my head? And I think it's very unlikely that like that's what the market makers want to inflict max pain is like everyone just holds through September and then the market dumps in October. No, sorry, that's not happening. So
Yeah, someone asked me like when does alt season actually start? Alt season actually started when Bitcoin has been ranging for a month and Ethereum is up 50%.
yeah, that's early stages.
Now, that's not euphoria, that's not max out your credit card and borrow from your father-in-law time,
Yeah.
but that's a big domino. And as the first part of the stage was Bitcoin is the show. Like that is basically the last 3 years. That's what stage of the ride we've been at. Now we're kind of in Ethereum. And as the ride progresses, the more and more exponential it picks up until all of a sudden it's over.
Yeah.
Uh, does Solnic have the same structure as Crow? Yes, Solnic is deep in Wyckoff accumulation, in my opinion. We're at phase C, where Crow is probably start of phase E. So maybe 2 structures behind. Although Crow's a lot older, so it's a more drug out structure where Sonic is newer and it's more expedited. But in my opinion, we are in phase C. The next thing is going into phase D, which would be the sign of strength. We haven't got the sign of strength yet, but yeah, just for funsies, we'll do this thing that everybody loves, where I share this, and then I share this, and I share this. Corporate wants to know the difference. What's the meme with Pam? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh, never shave your beard. I won't.
We do have a V-chain beard bet, right?
Yeah.
So, here we go. But so V-chain has to double. I don't even remember what the price was when we said that. Let's just say,
I think it was 10 cents.
oh, I thought it was just doubling.
I think it was a
Okay,
double. You're right.
yeah. But I mean, I could see. Yeah, I think V-chain's gonna hit 10 cents.
Um, Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up to the comments here. I didn't read any of them. Red September. Why
We'll see.
green then red? Sorry, I'm new. That's it. Okay, just think of like the market, like Barry Sanders, Allen Iverson. They never just go straight to the hole. They never just go in a straight line. They give jukes, they give head fakes, they give fake outs. And that's what the market does. If it wants to do something, it's going to give you a head fake. It's going to give you a fake out. And if you get, you don't watch the hips don't lie. Shakira, Shakira, Shakira. So if you watch the head, you're going to get shook. There you go. That's a bad sports analogy.
There you go.
Green fall and Christmas. I think that, historically, November is the best performing month. I don't see any reason why that's not going to be the case. By the way, same thing for stocks too. Every stock September is red except for election years.
Yeah. And most of the time, not saying that this is going to happen, but like a clear peak in the stock market, it mostly happens in December. Let's say like stock market then enters a bear market or whatever. The peak, a large majority of the time, is in December.
Yeah. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. Remember last year, wake me up when September ends. I mean, I've been saying that for years, but we talked about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's my workout playlist right there. So give me some of that divorced dad emo 2000s rock. And I'm at home.
Here's a question. I'll answer a simple answer, and then you can probably answer a longer one. Do you believe alt season won't be as big as the last two? My answer is I do believe it won't be as big as the last two, but I mean, I would say that 2021 wasn't as big as 2018. And so you can make an argument for diminishing returns, but
So what are we talking about when we say big? Are we talking about ROI
yeah,
or are we talking about time?
I was thinking ROI.
ROI, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Diminishing returns. Like last time others did from the time that Bitcoin got into price discovery, others did a 10x. I think others does a 5x.
There we go.
So yeah. Now I think there's a chance, not even base case, but I do think it gets, drug out.
Yeah.
Into January, February, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's not my base case. So I think it could be longer, but I don't think that the ROI is higher.
And I'm agnostic as to the timing.
Yes.
BCB thinks September is going to be exciting. So hey, Devin and the blockchain backer agree. Cool.
The blockchain backer is one of the, there's a lot of people that do TA. There's very few people that do TA and I listen. That he is definitely one of them. So,
Well, hey, Jam said we've been in a bear market for 6 months.
yeah.
So,
I mean, Ethereum was at 2000 and now it's at 4,300. So that's,
yeah. I have no hate towards Jam. I mean, he did call for Ethereum to peak at $2,700. I keep on needing to remind people of that. Listen,
ego camping, bro.
he's gonna look very smart at the end. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of like, how dumb would he look in between now and the end is the question.
Yeah. Ski go camping, bro. Someone's I got you, bro. I'm gonna go camping here soon.
All right.
Yeah, no, I don't what an easy indicator that we can see that we're in a bear market. 200s on top. That's it. Like there's lots of other things that can show you that. But I think that that's the easiest, simplest one for the most amount of people to wrap their brain around. 200 moving average. You're below the 200. And then it goes 100. Then it goes 50. Then it goes 20. If you see that, you're in a bear market. We're nowhere close on the daily. We're nowhere close. Not close. I've been bullish since. I started taking stabs at being bullish around June of 2022, and I was full on bull in November. And I haven't. There's been moments when I've been bearish, but really, I just keep things simple. It's not like I've been a bull my entire career. I've been bearish. In 2021, I was bearish. So, did I sell the absolute top? Some of it. I sold some of it, but I DCA'd out. I do think there is a chance too. um, like what would be the this isn't my base case, by the way, but what would be the classic move from the market maker, from the apex predator would be everyone expects one thing and then you just do the opposite. Um, so that kind of like is kind of gnawing at me a little bit, and of like, what if we start euphoria in September?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen, but
Yeah, me neither.
but man, it would that would be the classic I don't know. That would be a 3D chess move there.
Yeah, there's always some wrinkle. Every cycle brings in some wrinkle. Last cycle, I mean, the difference between last cycle and 2021 was it was like Bitcoin peaked, and then altcoin, and Bitcoin had a blow off top. Altcoins then rotation into altcoins, they had their blow off top in 2021, at least second quarter of 2021. Bitcoin, I kept on waiting for Bitcoin to have a blow off top, and it didn't. It had a rounded top, a distributive top. But then the altcoins, I mean, for the most part, they popped off after Bitcoin, but like some of them peaked in March. Bitcoin peaked in April. Some even peaked in February. So
someone asked me, did you guess the top Bitcoin top in 2021? No, I've told the story. So I was mining. So here's my experience of 2021. I was mining and I was making more money mining than I was when I was in the army. So I was selling like every day. I was selling my
yeah,
Ethereum every day. I sold the average of like maybe 4,200 on Ethereum, maybe 4,300, because I was selling like every week. So the entire like distribution of Bitcoin I was selling. I had made a 40x on Matic, was one of my first like really big plays of 2021. So I think I sold the average price of Bitcoin of about $50,000, and I sold the very last bit of my crypto. I was like, okay, I flipped to a full on bear somewhere around 50K Bitcoin. Because I told the story many times where I went into a gas station and I was already making content about crypto, and I saw a Bitcoin ATM. This is the first Bitcoin ATM I saw in my real life, and I was outwardly excited about it. And I was like talking out loud. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." And then there was this guy who English was not his first language. He was buying a Colt 45 and a Black and Mild. And I don't judge nobody, and that's fine. But he tells me, like, he went out of his way to tell me, he goes, Bitcoin is finished. Shiba. That's what he said. Shiba. By the way, he was right. Shiba did exponentially outperform Bitcoin. But for me, I immediately called my friend and it was like, it's over.
wow.
And I sold the rest of my crypto.
I've heard you say that before, but how do you think we're in a bull market when ETH is the same price that it was 4 years ago? Um, where was ETH? Where was ETH in June of 2022?
I mean, if you didn't buy ETH, if you bought the
Yeah,
top in 2021 and then didn't do anything for the next 4 years, then sure, you could think that. But that's not what I did. I sold my crypto in 2021 and I bought aggressively in November of 2022.
yeah.
So for me, it's been great. Maybe if you bought the top in 2021 and haven't done anything since then, you could be like, I'm break even.
I
Sure.
mean, it's such a weird question. I mean, the definition of a bull market is just generally, hey, prices are going up, and since November of 2022, prices have been going up.
Yeah. I mean, but XRP's barely made an all time high, but it did a 10x.
Yeah,
It was at 5 years of 30 cents. So I mean, is XRP in a bull market? Even though it did a 10x, it's barely made a new all time high. Bitcoin's really only made an all time high starting when November of 24. I mean, it went from 16K all the way up to before then 75K. That's what is that, a 5x? Is that a bull
yeah.
market outperforming the stock market by, you know, to do a 5x? in the stock market, S&P 500, that's like your entire career.
Yeah.
That's your entire career of contributing to 401k. That's your entire career and your kid's entire career. You know what I mean? Like that is imagine going to work, clocking in, doing your 40 hours, asking Patricia if you can have Monday off to take your kid to the doctor, clocking in, grinding your face off. You have a terrible boss who doesn't listen to you, and you do that for 80 years. That's what Bitcoin did. So I don't know, from the time of 2022 until November, from November of 2022 through November of 2024, that's what Bitcoin did. So is that a bull market? Maybe. I don't know. That's something. That's 80 years of your life back.
Yeah.
So for me, like that's what it's about. It's about the freedom of not asking Patricia if I can have Monday off.
Yeah, I don't like Patricia, man.
Yeah, screw Patricia. Boycott Patricia. So for me, yeah, like sure, like did Ethereum just make an all-time high from 2021? Sure. That's fine. But has it outperformed the stock market of you might be like, oh, he's cherry picking. Like, sure. I'll buy that for $1. But that's what I do though. I DCA in and I DCA out. What's next for Bitcoin? Bitcoin is going to range. That's it. There's nothing exciting left for Bitcoin. Bitcoin might get to 138, maybe 207. Highest probability is 138. There's nothing. That's 20%. That's 22% from here. That's nothing. Like, you just invest into an ETF for that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's nothing exciting for Bitcoin. But everything else is low side. What's the range? Low side. We're at the low side. There's a lot of support over here. Like maybe we get to 105 if you're lucky, blessed, and highly favored. But in all reality, we're on top of the 100 moving average here. Good arrow entry. There might be another creator for that. I'm not.
I made a video on arrow yesterday. Let me take a look at it real quick. I have two different levels. One would be $1.07. The other one would be 98 cents. So
large caps moving next. Yeah, we're seeing it. Like Ethereum's up 50% compared to Bitcoin over the last month. Crow just broke out. That to me wasn't my number one draft pick for the breakout, but it was on my bingo card.
Yeah.
It was on my draft board. It wasn't my number one draft pick, but it was on my draft board. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for this time. Any closing thoughts, Alex?
I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought we were going to get more hate today because people are losing money, but good job by all of you. So keep up the good work.
I got a little bit on TikTok, but it's all good.
Okay.
But yeah, we did. You guys are learning. You're growing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. We will never message you first. I always show my phone when I'm live, but I'm using my phone. But I have 427 missed text messages. I have 900 missed calls. Listen, I have too much stuff going on. I don't get back with my own people. I'm not going to ask you and say, how's your trading going? Listen, I don't care. I wish you well, but I don't care, honestly.
And as much as Devin doesn't care, I care less. So
the point of that is if somebody messages you and says, how's your trading going? And it has my picture or Alex's picture, that is somebody from Pakistan.
Or Pakistan.
Or Pakistan or Turkestan or Afghanistan. It's not a ski stand though. All right. Do not get scammed. Do not redeem. Do not redeem. No. All right, guys. That is going to be it for this time. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Work on. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching. We'll be live next Friday about the same time. I may or may not be live. I'm definitely going to be live tomorrow. Ohio State plays Texas.
Oh, let's go Buckeyes.
Go Bucks. If they win, I might be in a good mood. If not, you won't see me till Monday. So, but all right, guys.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, well, I was just going to make fun of the Manning kid. Arch Manning. He's going down. Go ahead.
All right, guys. That's going to be it for this time. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.